actually on the volleyball team. So technically I'm supposed to be at a banquet right now, but so they say a person can only pretend to be someone they're not for so long. A person's true colors usually show within 6 months. I had never experienced the feeling I felt with him before, nor had I ever trusted someone wholeheartedly from the beginning. I looked into the eyes of this man and felt safe without a shadow of a doubt. I at times would find myself thinking that he was too good to be true. Yet time and time again, he would prove he was the best thing in the world to me. Little did I realize that it was all an act, and soon the curtain would drop and the reality of my situation would come crashing in. He was only able to hold up the potential of the pretend man that he had made me fall in love with for about 3 months. With no warning at all, everything changed. He was no longer the best friend I had known for 3 years. He was no longer the guy I could laugh about stupid things with. Lies started becoming an everyday thing, communication was absent from him, and the compassionate person I loved was gone. And the only thing he truly cared about was himself. Manipulation became his favorite hobby, along with degrading, disrespect, and abuse. I was 16 years old the first time I slept with him, and it was not consensual. He had forced it on me and manipulated me by making me feel like I was being selfish for not wanting it. This was the man that kissed me goodnight and whispered that he loved me. This was the man I wanted a future with. This was the man that promised to always love me and protect me from anybody or anything that would cause me harm. But the real question was, who was going to protect me from him? I stayed fighting for the relationship for 2 years, hoping one day the man that I fell in love with would come back, yet in the back of my mind I knew. I knew that the man he had pretended to be, and never was, will never be again. It was impossible, because the man I had fallen in love with was nothing more than a figure of imagination, and he himself wanted to be, not the man he really was on the inside. His hobbies of lying, manipulation, and abuse got worse with every day I stayed. As it got worse, I tried standing up and putting my foot down. I tried telling him what I was feeling and telling him I was hurting, and he would just pour on the promises to change, apologies, and for a small moment in time, the pretend man he had been would show, and I would think there was hope. During the search for colleges, he did not support me the way I wanted him to. In fact, the day I told him I was offered a full ride to the University of Alaska Fairbanks for volleyball, he did not celebrate with me. He shut down my happiness and excitement. He started bringing up all the reasons why I shouldn't go. These reasons were never about my well-being. His reasons were his fear of me cheating on him or finding someone better and leaving me. All he could say was he was afraid of being hurt. To go to college on a full-ride scholarship and play volleyball was one of the biggest dreams I had, and it was the only thing in the world I wasn't going to allow anyone to take away from me. I accepted the scholarship, and a few months later, I came here. Sorry. Even though I was so far away, I kept trying to fight for the relationship. But by the time I had finished my first week of preseason for volleyball, I was more emotionally exhausted than physically. My self-esteem, dignity, and confidence and health was at an all-time low. Insecure became the main word I used to describe myself. It was also the word he would throw at me in arguments and attempt to put the blame of our toxic relationship on me. Every night was another phone call that ended up being another screaming match. He continued to try and control my actions and didn't want me to be part of my team gatherings on the weekends, and would tell me I shouldn't trust anyone. When I didn't listen, he would get angry and make me feel as though I had betrayed him and made me feel like I'd almost done something as bad as cheating on him. These kinds of fights continued for a month. Every phone call was worse than the last. Every text had made me scared of what I might have done this time. I looked in the mirror and no longer recognized the woman I had become. My smile no longer lit up the room, and the appearance of exhaustion showed through. Every day I started to feel more lost and less in control of my life. All I could ask was why? Why me? Why would you emotionally destroy someone whose only intention was to love you? Why was he treating me the way that I did if he loved me? Why was he treating me the way that he did if he loved me? Finally, one day I realized he didn't love me. I just wanted to believe that he did. In all honesty, he probably doesn't know how to love another human being other than himself. He was nothing but selfish and narcissistic. I decided I no longer wanted to fight against his demons for a love that did not exist. I made the best decision I had ever made in my life. I completely removed him from my life. This didn't stop the pain that came from the damage that had already been done. After I cut him off, I felt I had lost my identity. I realized after fighting for a relationship for 2 years, I had lost my identity. My whole identity was this toxic relationship I had finally fled from. I realized I had come to Fairbanks because I was running. I was running from the problem because I was tired of being hurt when I was trying to fix it. I tried to ignore the problems and slowly started to eat away at me. My world was spiraling, and without warning, I lost control, all because one man's choice to try to get what he wanted without permission. It was dark, and it was cold. I was in the back of the car in the middle seat. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and we were coming back from a late night at a friend's house. As we were on the highway, I felt the man on my right start to slowly reach out my shirt. I began to panic, and I could feel my anxiety start to set in. I looked at my boyfriend with all the terror in my chest and whispered, "He's touching me. Please help. He's touching me." My boyfriend tried to pull me away, but it was too late. I broke down and had a PTSD attack after the man continued up my shirt and grabbed me. The last thing I remember was screaming. I couldn't see anything or hear anything. I was terrified of my ex possibly hurting me, and the thoughts running through my head were it's my fault, and I'm nothing but a burden to everyone I interact with. As we pulled up to campus, my boyfriend pulled me out of the car and was doing everything to calm me down. And finally, the first words I heard through the chaos in my head was, "It's not your fault." Suddenly, my terror subsided, and I was back in reality. He looked at me in the eyes and said it over and over. And those words were the best words I had heard in forever. It lifted this weight off my shoulders, and I felt like I could breathe freely. I want every survivor here to know you are not alone, and it isn't your fault. You have a right to speak out, and it's the best thing you can do for yourself. It's hard and it's scary, but in the end, you will only be giving yourself a chance to heal. I didn't tell anyone what happened in my relationship for 2 years. I was scared no one would believe me. I was terrified everyone would think I am crazy and making it up just to get attention. The secret only ate me alive. I also want everyone else out there to know that every action you take to support a survivor like myself has power. Every action, big or small, affects us. It helps us remember we are not alone and there are people who care. So watch what you are saying around others, because you never know who is listening. You don't know everyone's story. The last thing we need is to feel like it's a big joke to everyone who hasn't been hurt. This emotional trauma ruined a lot of things. It ruined my relationship with someone who made me feel safe. I started having thoughts of suicide and just wanted to end it all. I didn't want to hurt anymore. I was so tired of it all, and I felt alone and scared. I started pushing people away and making decisions that ended up hurting people who cared for me and trusted me. There was one thing that kept me from hurting myself. It was the people that stuck around even when I pushed them away. The ones who reached out when things got hard. They reminded me I wasn't alone and they cared about me. This thought kept me going. I finally promised myself and them that I was going to do better. I'm going to live for the small joys in life. My team and I recently talked about a concept that sticks to me. Hunt the good stuff. I decided to battle my depression by hunting for the small joys in life, no matter how small they are. I decided it's time to remember who I am and who I want to be. I was going to show the two people in this world who destroyed me because of their own selfishness that they aren't going to have the last laugh. They aren't going to beat me. Now when I walk in a room, it lights up. I look in the mirror and strength, beauty, and confidence. I am proud of the woman I have become, because after all, I have survived hell. Here's 10 p.m. to lovers asleep in each other's arms. Here's 1 a.m. to the overachievers and the slackers. Here's 2 a.m. to the poets with light bulbs above their heads. Here's 3 a.m. to the disturbed, the tortured, the terrified, and the infernal. Here's 6 a.m. to the souls who refuse to give in. Because you wake up every morning to fight the demons that left you so tired the night before. And that, my friend, is bravery.